In our last videos, we've gone over a couple of new tools, but in this one we're going to do things a little bit different. We're going to introduce a new feature called Revolve. And it's not too hard to use, but there are 3 different ways that you can use it, and we're going to go over all of them in the video. We'll start off simple and kind of build up from there. So we're going to start off with a part just like we normally do. From there, we're going to go to 2D Sketch and click on our XY plane. Now, unlike a lot of things we do inside of Inventor, where we start and end at our origin, we have a closed loop, all of that, we're going to break some of those rules in this video, and I apologize for that, but it's kind of how things are set up, and as you learn more about Inventor, you'll get a better grasp on why things work the way they do. But let's go through, and we're going to start off with a line, and we're going to start off with a vertical line from our origin. I could start with a horizontal line as well. It doesn't really matter, but I'm going to start with a vertical line. Now, I'm drawing this line, and I want to make something clear real quick, is we're only using half of the drawing surface. So I'm going to use the right half over here. This left half is not going to be used at all. And that's because of how Revolve works. Essentially, what we're going to do is we're going to draw a line, and everything that we do is going to revolve around that line. Think of a door hinge. Kind of a door opens and stays. The one edge of it stays against the side of the wall there. That's kind of how Revolve works as well. So we're going to go ahead and have our vertical line, which is going to be our hinge, and then we're going to draw whatever we want to have happen after that. So I'm going to go in and draw a couple of random lines. Again, I'm keeping my closed loop. I'm doing all that. I'm going to end up back at my origin as well. This stuff doesn't really matter. As long as you have a closed loop, you're in good shape. And you notice that nothing comes to the left side of that line. Now, basically what's going to happen is we're going to take this profile that we've created and we're going to then spin it around this vertical line. Now, you're going to get some interesting results when you do this, but it's a cool way to see how Inventor works and a cool way to kind of just create things for fun. So from here, I'm going to go to Finish Sketch, and then I'm going to go to the Revolve tool. It is right next to our extrude tool, and it's going to allow us to do some things. So when I click on Revolve, it's automatically going to select a profile for me, and because I have a closed loop, it automatically selects it right out of the gate. The next option that I have is Axis. I'm going to go through and I'm going to select that vertical line that I drew. And this is why it's important to have nothing happening to the left-hand side. If I did, when I go to try to revolve it, it's going to run into itself and cause issues. But because there's nothing there, this entire profile can spin all the way around and not run into itself. So I can click on that, and you can see, whoa, I got something very different happening there. So basically that profile that I drew there, the one kind of highlighted in purple, spins all the way around, and I can see a whole bunch of different stuff. Now, I have this other option up here called Extents. Right now it's full, so it's going through a full 360 degrees. If I go to the drop down, I could set an angle, say, hey, I only want it to go 90 degrees. I could say I want it to go to something or between something. Right now there's nothing else for it to really do, so I'm really stuck with angle and full. But if you're doing more on a sketch, you have these other options. For this one, I'm going to choose full, and I'll hit OK, and then I can kind of zoom around and see what I have. And you'll notice that this thing looks way different than anything else we've made inside of Inventor thus far. So that's our first version of being able to make a revolve. I'm going to go up to New, and I'm going to choose Standard IPT, which is a standard Inventor part. We'll start off with a new sketch, XY plane. I'm going to draw my vertical line again, and I have that. Now, this time, what I want to do is I want to make something like a glass, because a glass is basically the same shape, just spun around a central point. So I'm going to go to my line tool. I'll go in here. Let's say I want to have this thing have a flat bottom, so I'm going to come out. Then I want it to go all the way up and out. We'll have a really thin little top, and then we'll have it come back down, and then we'll have it go back to its point here. So I have those there. What's basically going to happen here is I'm going to take this line, and this profile is going to spin around it. So I'm going to finish my sketch. I will revolve. I'll select my loop, and then from there I'll go to Axis, and I'll click on my axis, and I'll hit OK. And you notice that now I have this shape. If I want to edit that, I can right click and go to Edit Sketch. And let's say, hey, I really need the bottom of that to be a little bigger, so I'm going to grab that bottom line and come out, and I'll finish my sketch, and it will update automatically, and I get this garbage can looking thing. But again, totally an easy way to use things, and when used in other combination with other tools, you can do a lot of really interesting things with the Revolve tool. So that's number 2. Let's go on to number 3. So I'm going to go up to New, Standard IPT. I'm going to go to 2D Sketch and XY plane. And then I'm going to draw in my axis line like I always do. Now, from here, I'm going to break a couple of rules. I have my line here, but I'm going to draw a closed loop somewhere outside of that. It's not going to connect to the origin or that original line at all. So I'm going to go through here and let's say I want to draw something that looks a little bit like that. Again, it doesn't really matter. I'm just randomly clicking, but I have a closed loop that exists out here, and then I have my vertical line. Essentially, what's going to happen at this point is I'm going to spin this shape around this central point. And what I should get is a hole in the middle. So when I finish my sketch, I can go to Revolve. I'm going to select my closed loop, and then I'll go to Axis, and I'll click on my vertical line. And you'll see that it pops up there. It spins all the way around, and I have my big hole right there. So I have 3 different ways of using Revolve. Nothing all that complicated, but again, it's a cool tool that you can really play with and see exactly how it works and have fun doing so. If you have any questions, let me know, and hopefully this helped.